What's up, guys? It's been a little while since I did a video, so I wanted to make sure I get something up sometime soon. I'm gonna show off plenty of geckos, like this crazy little Inferno baby. But I also want to talk about a few things since we got a lot of people that have bought geckos recently. I did post John's video from Gecko Boa about the starter guide to owning leopard geckos, but I also wanted to touch on a few things. I haven't watched the video in a little while, so I might go over things that are in that video, but I just wanted to make sure I covered a few things. This is a great example because this little guy is feisty as hell. But anyway, this is my little baby Inferno. He's from breeding my Inferno male to a super hypo female that's also 50% Inferno. It's the girl with the paradox spot. She's in a lot of my Facebook pictures and stuff. But anyway, this guy's being really crazy, and one of the things I wanted to talk about was young hatchlings that are really jumpy. And I have the glove on because of my new tattoo, but it's healing anyway, so if you really want to see it, you can go on Facebook. But this little guy's really jumpy, so one of the little tricks I do, especially because I gotta transport these guys up and down stairs sometimes when I'm handling them, is I'll take them and just slowly, you definitely don't want to trap the tail or anything like that, and you definitely don't want to be putting pressure on them, but I'll just cup my hands completely around them, and sometimes I'll leave them a little gap so they can look out so they're not too spooked. But more or less, this thing's curled up in my hand right now, and once I remove my other hand, you'll see he was really pressed up against my right hand. They kind of like that, like being in the cave type of feeling, and a lot of times, when I'm bringing them up and down stairs, like I said, they'll just press up against me, and I really don't have to worry about them jumping or falling on the floor or anything like that. So anyway, that's just one little trick, and I actually do that even when I'm handling them. If I get them downstairs and they're still really fired up, you don't necessarily have to cup them in your hand. Sometimes if you want to lay them on your body, I will just like kind of drape my shirt over top of them, just overlap it or fold it, and just that little bit of feeling like they're tucked away and like they can't be seen is usually enough to settle them down, and normally I'll just let them sit there for a while. They might poke their head out and everything, but normally they won't totally come out from cover for a while, and that's just the beginning of stages of how I break them into getting used to just being out and about with all the noise, especially we got kids and everything. So anyway, you can see just from cupping my hands for a minute and letting them know that nothing was going to hurt him and everything, he's a little frightened. You can tell he's tense, but I'm sorry, I keep saying hey, this should be a female. But anyway, now she's a little more settled down. As soon as I get a move or if I put something over top of her head, you'll see she immediately reacts, but she's not like before where she was just running for her life. So that's just one little tip I wanted to fill you guys in on, one of the things I do. But anyway, I'm going to take a couple more out just so this isn't a boring video of me talking. But I really like the way these things turn out. A lot of stuff is definitely not going to show on the camera, but there's so much little tangerine highlighting where the yellow bands are. Here's another little one, and like I said, he's pretty fired up. Pretty much anytime I go near him, he's gonna run. And just to show you once again, I'll kind of guide him in with one hand. If you can get them to just walk in your hand by laying it out in front of them, that's awesome. But a lot of these little guys, they know better. They're gonna try to hop over your fingers, so you kind of got to corner them and scoop them a little bit from one hand onto the other. Sorry, the camera's just stationary, so I'm kind of out of view a little bit. But anyway, I get them in my hand, and a lot of times I'll just cut my hand or flatten out my hand right in front of them, so it's kind of like a wall, and they don't think they can jump over it or go anywhere. And sometimes that's enough. And this one's a little more calm, as you can tell. And this is the one with the really nice white head stamp, which I talked about before. These are part of the paradox project because, like I said, the super hypo female is one of the paradoxes. But the white on the head, from what I've been told, it happens a lot with tangerines. Some of it will stay for a little while, but more or less it should just have a real nice bright head. And as you can tell, the color in this one's a little bit better, and the camera's getting it a little bit. But hopefully this thing should turn out really nice, and obviously it's much bigger than its sibling. It's doing really well. As soon as I separated them, this thing just blew up like a house. I think I might have showed these before, but as far as my hatchling setup, I think these are 6-quart tubs, I want to say. These are all in the white rack that Dave gave me. But I just use these containers as little hideouts. And I have the moist hide underneath, so even when this is on, they do probably still get a little bit of humidity in there. But this is the best way I've found to do it. I do keep a water bowl in. I don't put a ton of water in there because they definitely lick the droplets in here more often than not. I rarely see baby geckos in there actually drinking out of the water bowl, and then the worms get in there too. I like these are just totally clear cups that I get from the dollar store, and I cut them down to whatever size I need them. But it's real nice because they can see the worms right through the side, and especially for hatchlings starting out. You really want to give them every opportunity to eat and the best chance to find the food and all that. I really think they sniff out that calcium powder from a mile away anyway. But this is one of the Inferno to the, what do you call it, Black Pearl females. Like I said before, I also had the Blood Emerine male in there, but they weren't producing anything. I definitely missed an ovulation with him. So I'm pretty sure, if anything, these are Inferno babies, but they're really, really nice looking. Have a lot of white in the heads, just like the straight Inferno cross. And then I have the other sibling over here. The tangerine on this thing is just smoking for a newborn. You can see there's a little bit of extra black in the tail, but this thing's more or less just bright, bright tangerine. I was talking about this with a few people that were buying geckos, so I did just want to touch on this again. I use the Vionate mixed with Osteoform, and you can get this off of Amazon. If you just Google it and hit the shopping section, there's like a million places to order it from. But anyway, like I said, I really feel like they like the smell or the taste of this stuff, because I've never had a gecko that won't lick it up. I was even told my panther gecko wouldn't just lick it out of the bowl, and he actually licks this stuff up all the time. But anyway, yeah, I've used the Rapashi. Like I don't think there's I don't totally dislike the other ones. I mean, they ingredient wise, they had all the right stuff, but some of the stuff, I've said it before, the stuff that's supposed to cling to the bugs really well just turned into a really nasty paste if you get even like the littlest bit of moisture in there. And like I said, they just seem to really like this stuff, and I've always had, I've always done well with my hatchlings and everything. This is the next size up container I use, and I really like these because this stuff fits in here perfect. And once again, like I said, I put my calcium powder right in with the worms. Usually there's a little bit more. I'm cleaning, so everything's it's actually pretty clean in here, but everything needs to be done more or less. But anyway, as you can tell, there's not really a whole lot of water. I just give it a little spray, maybe like a 1/4 inch in there. I hose this down. I do all top entrances. Like I said before, I used to have things where the entrances were a little bit lower, but if it's low enough to where a mealworm can reach up and grab a hold of it, they will end up in there. And when you have bedding, that can be a real problem, because if you have a gecko laying eggs and something where the worms can get in, the worms will eat the eggs. But this is, like I said, the next size up. You can keep one gecko in here for a decent amount of time. It's still plenty of space, but a pair, I would say, they, once they're, I don't know, like 15, 20 grams-ish is when I would definitely separate them or put them into something bigger if you're not going to separate them. This little guy's in shed, but he's one of my nicer looking radars, out of my just straight radars. He came from the white and yellow male. And it is temperature sex to be a male, but so far it's not really looking like one. But even in shed, this thing's still pretty decent looking. These are another awesome pair from the white and yellow. The striping on this thing just looks amazing in person. Part of the reason I was holding out on doing this video, besides I did have the show, I really wanted to get some daylight shots, especially of this thing and some of the more tangerine stuff, because inside and on this camera it just really doesn't pick it up too well. This thing has a lot of little streaking and stuff that's pretty subtle until you have it out in some nice lighting. So a lot of people were asking about the blood emerine male. This would be the father to any of the tangerine crosses if you guys purchased the eclipses or any of the blood emerine stuff. That it all came from him. He's 100% het eclipse. He proved that many times already. And he's still got some really awesome color. He's just got done breeding, I would say 6 females over here and then a handful over at Dave's. And he did lose a little bit of size, but he basically picked right back up. You know, we kept giving him breaks, and he bounced back every time. But he definitely is gonna father many babies this year, and he's already I've already hatched many really cool things from him. But anyway, the real goal was to get a lot more tangerine, obviously, into the bells, and then hopefully still retain some pattern. I like that he's not completely super hypoed out. So hopefully with some selective breeding we get some more high contrast tangerine stuff. And I do want to eventually, we did breed him to some straight tangerine, some Inferno stuff, so I do want to eventually breed him back to some of those babies. And just breed, you know, breed for straight eclipses, no bells, no tremper or anything. And this guy's pretty deep in shed, but this is one of the Paradox babies. Unfortunately, the female with the real cool head spot over at Dave's has had a ruptured egg inside her, and basically did a little mini surgery on her. But hopefully she recovers. But this thing over here is definitely looking like it has one. I can't get this thing to focus. I think it's having a hard time because of the weird shed color. But yeah, inside of that spot right there is a real nice bright yellow spot. I'm sorry, inside of that outlining. Give me a second here. This is the sibling of that one right here, and I don't know if you already got a shot of it, but it looks like it's got a big blotch that wasn't there before. I mean, all the spotting's just starting to really come in. But it's looking like it's going to have a big black Paradox spot on the back of the neck there. I don't want to run this video too long, but I do want to show a couple of these guys off. There was a few from the white and yellow pairings that when they first hatched out, they really didn't have a whole, you know, they're pretty transparent and everything like most babies, but a lot of the markings that, you know, are pretty obvious now, you couldn't see when they hatched out, but this thing's a nice little, it's possibly a radar. It has a little bit of eye pigment in the white nose, but it definitely is looking white and yellow. It's got that crazy horseshoe on the head, and the colors are really starting to pop now. I never really catch hatchlings doing this, but I just happened to look over and I was just started eating the piece on its arm there. This is another one of my really nice, probably my second favorite straight radar that I have. It's hard to see it, but there's definitely a lot more carroting in the tail that's just barely starting to show. I really like this thing. Totally got the pied look, a lot of white legs. Pretty sure it has solid red eyes, or maybe not solid red, but I would say they're more than 75% red. And this brings up another thing. I had a customer just ask me today. The albinos and the eclipses seem to even be more sensitive to light. They definitely will not open their eyes a whole lot if you have them in any kind of bright lighting. Like, I'm actually surprised right now. If it wasn't for the fact that this guy's so calm and I handle him a lot, I think he would have his eyes closed also. But I've never had a blind gecko yet, and not that it's unheard of, but I don't really worry about it a whole lot. I don't bring them in a whole lot of bright lighting. These videos are probably about the brightest lights they ever have to deal with and taking pictures. I almost forgot to include my newest hatchling. I still haven't really got too many good peeks at the eyes, but it doesn't actually look like a radar. It's still definitely a really nice white and yellow snow. As you can see, the eyes are pretty bright red, but I can see a lot of the pupil. But anyway, this thing just had its first shed the other day. I haven't even removed the initial paper tail yet. But it does look to have eaten a couple worms. This is another really awesome one from the white and yellow. It looked pretty cool when it hatched out because of those white streaks on its head, but it looked nothing like this. The tangerine's just really starting to show now. And it's got like a much softer looking purple. I really like it. Nice lavender color. But I'm going to wrap this up. Hopefully I didn't really miss too many things. Like I said in the post or whatever earlier, I really, when I get new geckos or anything hatches, anything new, even snakes, my Pictus gecko, anything that I bring into the house, for the first week at least, I would say the first 7 days, I barely even touch them or look at them. I might peek in on them, but more or less, as long as I don't have a reason, as long as nothing looks wrong, you know, I've never had any reason to, but I don't even check on them. Once about a week's gone by, I go in, I make sure the cage is clean. Hopefully they go to the bathroom after a week. It's not a guarantee, but you know, the thing, as long as your temperatures are right and everything, they should go. A lot of people don't feed the day or two before the show, so don't panic if they don't go to the bathroom right away. But as I've said before, normally you're not going to get a gecko to eat in the first day or two. So a lot of people won't even offer them food. I personally leave food in there just so I can leave them be longer. But some people don't even do that. But anyway, I just leave them be. Like I said, I try not to make too much noise. I don't open their tray. After a week, if they've been eating, then I without a doubt, I'll take them out and handle them for a little while. And I try to keep it short and try not to stress them out and try to keep it a positive interaction so you start building trust. But more or less, if they eat, you don't really have too much to worry about. If they start eating right away, there's a very good chance that they don't even really care that they move for the most part. I don't know a better way to word that. But anyway, if they don't eat, like I said, it's not really a panic situation. I mean, the younger the gecko, the sooner you would hope it would eat. But I've had some little ones that went a while without eating and then started up and never stopped after that, and they grew fine. But anyway, you definitely don't want to do too much to stress them out. I wouldn't grab a gecko after 7 days and start forcing worms down its throat. Anything, I've said this before, I don't really believe in force feeding anything that knows how to eat. Really, you're just teaching them how to eat. If you're force feeding or assist feeding, I want to say a hatchling, it's not really. There's no real other reason. I have had adults where they're struggling, you know, after breeding scenarios and stuff like that, and enigmas and everything, where I might take the worm and brush it up against their face and make them lick the slime off of there, but I won't grab a hold of them and make them eat it like you would with a hatchling that's not eating. But anyway, most of the time, within 2 weeks, you should have them at least eat a fairly decent amount and be going to the bathroom and everything. And as long as that is the case, you're still fine. I mean, 2 weeks is a good bit without eating, but in the wild, I'm sure these guys go through little dry spells all the time. I've heard of people, I just saw today, somebody was saying they had a gecko go 8 months after purchasing it, and it didn't eat. It was totally healthy otherwise, but it wouldn't eat for 8 solid months. So just keep that in mind. But anyway, I gotta wrap this up so I don't run out of tape, and I just want to say thanks to everybody that purchased geckos recently. I hope everything works out. If not, contact me right away. The sooner the better. And if there's anything I can help you with, otherwise, I'd be happy to. But, all right, guys, that's it.